Couple of trades going down in the NFL on Tuesday. Could this be a precursor to some moves that the 49ers make? And I think both of these moves impact the 49ers. And of course, we're moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 6 on today's Locked On 49ers.
You are Locked On 49ers, your daily San Francisco 49ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 49ers. Brian Peacock and Eric Crocker with you as always at BD Peacock, at Coach Crocky. Thanks everybody for making us your first listen on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Love our everydayers. Thanks for hanging with us. And if you're new to the program, welcome. Hit that subscribe button for us on YouTube or wherever you are listening to this podcast, which is, and we'll bring on today's guest momentarily. If you're watching on YouTube, you already know what's going on. Today's episode of Locked On 49ers is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And now let's bring on today's guest.
Nick Winkler, come on down.
Can't believe it.
Action News 8 Sports with Nick Winkler.
Wow.
Wink, what's happening? 4-1 49ers. How about a wow with that one? A big Thursday night win. We haven't talked since the Niners improved to 4-0 in week 5. And I want to get your thoughts on that. Thoughts on the Bucs coming up here as well. But first, I'm going to go to the biggest news around the NFL right now. A couple of trades. They're not massive trades, but I think both trades impact the 49ers. One, potentially a missed opportunity. And one of these deals, guys, signifies a player that the 49ers are not going to be able to get, at least not right now. So let's start with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think the most popular name on the tip of everybody's tongues as it pertains to a edge rusher that the 49ers could potentially trade for to replace Nick Bosa in the short term, with Nick Bosa out for the year with his torn ACL, is Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson. And the Cincinnati Bengals not only did not trade away Trey Hendrickson on Tuesday, they actually traded for a quarterback by the name of Joe Flacco. 40-year-old Joe Flacco is now joining the Cincinnati Bengals from the Cleveland Browns, replacing they hope he's going to play this week and going to start against the Packers, replacing Jake Browning. It's obviously been awful the last few weeks without Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals. Their offense has been basically non-existent over the course of that time. They put up some garbage points last week. The week before, they mustered 3 points, and it was like, you know what? We don't want the football. Here's the football. You can have it back. That was essentially what their offense was in Cincinnati in week 4. So the Cincinnati Bengals, sitting at 2-3 in the AFC North, are still only in second place miraculously, because the Browns and the Ravens have actually performed worse so far this season, guys. So the Cincinnati Bengals bring in Joe Flacco, but you don't trade for a quarterback and give up draft picks if you don't think you're in it and still trying to win, guys. So what that tells me is that there's no way you're trading away Trey Hendrickson right now if the 49ers come calling, because you're still in the mode where you're currently trying to win. Wink, we'll go to you first. Am I reading this situation wrong with the Bengals and a player the 49ers might have some interest in that is probably currently not available?
I mean, you're reading it right, but I think the key word or words that you just said were not yet. They're not trading him yet, because is Joe Flacco really going to be the answer that's going to right the ship in Cincinnati? Like you said, coming in and playing this weekend? Like, I don't know if that's the guy. I know he wasn't their first option. He probably wasn't their second or third option either, but he's a guy that he's gotten it done pretty much everywhere he's gone in his career. So you got to give Joe Flacco credit for that. But is he going to be enough to help the Bengals pull themselves out of, this little rut they found themselves in? I don't know. So we still might see a trade or trades from the Bengals this time in the near future.
So, Wink, you and I see it a certain way. Croc, you've been following the NFL for a long time. Bengals do things a little bit differently, and they seem to do the exact opposite at just about every turn to what I think a professional sports franchise should do. Should we even expect that the Bengals do the right thing? And do you think this could actually work to the point where the Bengals are still, quote unquote, in it in 4 weeks at the trade deadline.
I'm not sure. And even with Joe Flacco trading for him, he hasn't been playing very good football for the Cleveland Browns. So
His numbers are worse than Browning's right now, I think.
So I don't know how much better it makes them. Maybe just having that veteran guy in there to kind of keep the receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, kind of keep them engaged with what's going on. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to change too much of the outcomes that we've seen for the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. And maybe it can surprise me. We've seen Joe Flacco at different times play very well. I think it was the last year or the year before when he won Comeback Player of the Year. Yeah. He ended up doing a terrific job, and I don't think anyone was expecting that. As far as Trey Hendrickson goes, I just give it a couple more weeks. You have time. It's not like they have to pull the trigger right now. Yes, the Cincinnati Bengals have lost 3 straight, and they are still in the hunt, so they're trying to figure out anyway. Probably should have tried to, throw it first at the 49ers for Mac Jones, all right? I think Kyle and John Lynch probably would have accepted that, all right? But if I'm them, I'm trying to figure out, all right, how are we going to be over these next couple of games? Because if they lose those as well, you're on this 5-game losing streak, then you may see a fire sale in Cincinnati.
The details of that trade, the Browns sending Joe Flacco and a 6th-round pick to the Bengals for a 5th-round pick. So it's the 5th and 6th-round pick swap along with Joe Flacco there in that deal. And certainly signifying that the Browns think, at least for a while, that they're still in this thing. And if Trey Hendrickson does become available, it's probably going to be a lot closer to the deadline. And the Bengals are going to have to stack up some more losses. But again, they're a team that just traded away a draft pick. And you don't do that if you think you are about to have a fire sale. So, and the Bengals are already really hard to deal with anyway. You see how hard it is for players to get contracts done with them. They trade less than any team in the NFL. So the Bengals might not be the team that returns the phone calls for John Lynch if he is out there looking for an edge rusher. Which brings me to the next bit of news, guys. Do you have anything else on the Browns? And
it's just, yeah, that's an interdivision trade. You just don't see those very often. It just hit me right now. I'm like, wait a minute. They're both in the North together. So, yeah, Cleveland must not think highly at all of what Joe Flacco's been doing to be like, oh, yeah, you guys want him? Yeah, you can have him.
Yeah, the Steelers are the only team in that division that Flacco hasn't played for yet.
Good call.
I definitely do not think it's going to save the Cincinnati Bengals. But, again, I can't put my head. The Bengals have been doing the weirdest stuff for – they've had the same GM, Duke Tobin. I don't think he even has the GM title. He's vice president of something. I don't know what he is. He's been running the thing the same way for 26 years. He's been running it since the 1990s. Have the Bengals been good?
How do you keep that job?
Mike Brown, the owner, I'm telling you, the Bengals do things differently. They don't trade very much. They are a very strange franchise. They move a lot slower. You expect them to do something. They just don't do it. They're in their own universe, man. That's Cincinnati Bengals football. And
you keep the job because the NFL owners are going to make their $250 million a year just off the revenue split. So they're going to get that regardless, and that's going to keep them afloat. But definitely, I don't know how they haven't had the planes flying over that stadium out there saying fire the owner like they did with Jeff.
Yeah. We might see that at some point soon.
It worked in Santa Clara, right? They got the ship turned around.
Yeah, things changed for sure. Next, there's another trade that did involve an edge rusher, but again, not to the San Francisco 49ers. Did the 49ers miss an opportunity? And we'll talk about the Ravens sending Odafe Oweh from Baltimore to the Los Angeles Chargers. And we'll talk a little bit more. We'll get the wink watch on the Rams. Special teams, Niners winning the special teams. They have that opportunity against the Bucs. And we're moving on to week 6 and those Tampa Bay Buccaneers next. This episode of Locked On 49ers brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. NFL season rolling along into week 6, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. And I don't know how long this offer is going to be around. It's the best offer FanDuel has given out in the 8 years I've been doing this podcast. And right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Weekly lines, 49ers underdogs at Tampa by a field goal right now on FanDuel. So if you like the 49ers, you can get 3 points. And it is a later start, the 125. It's not the 10 a.m. West Coast clock for the San Francisco 49ers, even though they are traveling to Tampa for this game. Makes watching football more exciting on FanDuel. You've got weekly lines. You've got parlays. Build your own parlays, player props, live in-game betting. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Man, I love my Doer jeans. I've been talking a lot about my Doer jeans. I'm wearing the no sweat pants right now when you're home a lot, and I've been home a lot today doing a lot of work, and I want the most comfortable pants I can get into, and right now it is my Doer no sweat pants and my Doer performance denim jeans. What do I love about Doer? Well, Doer has 5 times the stretch of traditional denim. They feel stretchy without looking stretchy. They look phenomenal. They look exactly like denim. They look like the highest quality denim you could get, but they perform a little bit more like athletic wear. So you get the best of both worlds. And Doer are pioneers of blending technical innovation with everyday clothing. They invented the original performance denim. And we're talking about antibacterial pants. You stay fresh longer, wash less, Cool Max technology that regulates body temperature and wicks away moisture. So keeps you cool and comfortable as temperatures change, and it's great for any season. So perfect for that Bay Area weather. And speaking about the Bay Area weather, you can test some Doer jeans yourself. The new Doer store just opened right here in Hayes Valley, so you can feel the difference firsthand. Go check them out at 567 Hayes Street. Great staff there. They'll get you fitted up. Mention our promo code LockedOnSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out online. ShopDoer, DUER.com/LockedOnSF for 15% off. That's ShopDoer.com/LockedOnSF. All right, guys. So the other trade that was swung in the NFL on Tuesday really had my ears perked up here, because I look at the 49ers roster, and one of the positions now with Malik Mustafa back at practice this week that they might actually have an extra player at, which seems impossible with all the injuries the 49ers have had. They might have an extra safety now. And the Los Angeles Chargers just traded a safety to the Baltimore Ravens to get an edge rusher that had 10 sacks last year in Odafe Oweh. And I'm looking at this deal, guys, and I'm thinking, I'm wondering if someone like, say, Jair Brown might have had as much or more value to the Baltimore Ravens as safety Alohi Gilman, who was traded along with the 2026 5th-round pick to the Ravens for Odafe Oweh and a 7th-round pick that they acquired from the Rams back in there. That's a 2027 7th-round pick. So again, Ravens receive safety Alohi Gilman, who's been a starter for them the last couple of years. He's not a high-impact player. And a 2026 5th-round pick. So Gilman in a 5th for Oweh and a future 7th. Croc, what do you think about this deal? Did the 49ers miss the boat trying to dangle a safety maybe? Because this is exactly the type of deal I think would benefit the San Francisco 49ers to get still a somewhat young. He's on the last year of his rookie contract as a former 1st-round pick. He had 10 sacks last year, kind of developing through the first 4 or 5 years of his career. Long, athletic edge rusher that could help provide the San Francisco 49ers with some impact. And I would say an extra edge rusher would impact the 49ers football team just as much as someone like Jair Brown might, or Jason Pinnock, if that's the guy they asked for. If you want to roll with Malik Mustafa and Siegel long term.
Yeah, I think the 49ers definitely missed the boat on this one. You got to figure out a way to bring in some production. Now, maybe this is the 49ers still trying to figure out what they are. Is it worth it for them to trade a guy? And again, we go back to 2019. They gave it until right before the trade deadline to say, you know what? We got to go get a guy. Let's go get Emmanuel Sanders. Or I think they even looked into Mohamed Sanu at that time. So you look at that situation, they let things play out and figure out exactly when was the right time to do it. But I think right now where the 49ers are, Nick Bosa is not coming back. So, and I think we all know what the pass rushers that they currently have are. You have Bryce Huff, and yeah, he's a guy that can bend the corner and get after a little bit. But everyone else, like none of those guys are sack master guys. None of the other guys are high production sack guys. Now, I have no idea how this guy got those 10 sacks. And we know sometimes it can be skewed a little bit. We've seen that with Leonard Floyd, where a lot of his sacks were, it was almost like they were kind of coverage sacks. A lot of them like high effort coverage sacks. So who knows? But regardless, the 49ers don't have anyone else on their roster outside of Huff that has any type of real production with getting sacks. And when you're watching the 49ers right now, they are struggling to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They just are. So, yeah, they definitely missed it, especially if it's giving up a safety and a late round pick. I think that's something the 49ers definitely could have swung. And I think it would have helped them in an area where they're clearly in need of.
And I would assume the 49ers have been making calls around the league already. So it's not like I would think the Baltimore Ravens would know that that's a team to chat with. So I have to imagine there was a conversation there about Oweh and the 49ers. Maybe they liked the safety Gilman more. Maybe the 49ers are like, well, we'll do safety straight up, but we're not going to throw in another pick, even if you give us this whatever garbage late, another year's 7th round pick, which is worth almost nothing. It's worth a little bit. Hey, you could find the next Brock Purdy, right? With the last pick in the draft. But maybe it was just a little bit too rich for the 49ers, and think there might be some better opportunities, but you need more teams to throw in the towel potentially, because there's just not enough teams right now that are doing that, as witnessed by the Bengals. But you know what's funny is the Ravens need a pass rush as much as anybody. So are the Ravens already throwing in the towel before the Cincinnati Bengals? I thought the Ravens were going to win the Super Bowl this year coming in. They're 1-4. They're trading away guys.
Yeah, I had Ravens Niners in the Super Bowl as well. And, they got Lamar Jackson out again this week and then a bye. So maybe they were like, let's just go ahead and see what we can get for some of our pieces of guys that we're not going to have on our team next year. So, I think you said it right, Croc. We don't know how he got his 10.5 sacks last year. And maybe he is just kind of that big guy that, goes through the middle or kind of powers around the outside. And I think the 49ers have a lot of guys like that. We've got Huff, you said, who bends the corner, and then that's it. So I like what the Niners are doing right now with their young guys, and maybe they want to see more of that too, right? Maybe they want to see more of these young guys. They invested a lot in this defensive line. So in order to give up a safety right now, Siegel's playing great, but he's still a rookie, and he's a 5th-round rookie. And so you never know how long that's going to last. So it's kind of who's your backup, right? If you get rid of Brown at that point, it's like you're real thin. And maybe the 49ers are a little bit scared, a little gun shy because of all the injuries they've had. They're like, we're already so thin with Mustafa out. Like, we can't give up another safety right at this minute. That's got to be it, right? It's got to be something like that, because why else wouldn't you go after a guy that's going to make your team better right now?
Yeah, I bet it was like, well, we'll do a player and not the picks, or we'll do the picks and not the player. But you can't have both, and the Chargers were willing to do both, if I had to guess. And I would think the 49ers might be interested. Because I think the 49ers could add a couple of guys. You could add a guy right now this week. Then, in 3 weeks, you could add another edge, or maybe a defensive tackle, if that's the way you want to go. You could go a lot of different directions, and this isn't a prohibitive move. It wasn't super expensive, and I think it's the right price. I think the 49ers would like to spend a 5th or later in making some kind of a move and bring in a player who's maybe still on a rookie contract that's not making a lot of money. I think that would be an ideal fit. And I think Oweh would be a really nice fit for that wide 9 and coming off the edge. But there are still some teams that the 49ers could talk to. And maybe they're having those conversations. They got another deal they like better. And maybe the team's like, hey, we got to, if we lose one more game, call us back, John Lynch, and then we'll trade, X player or whatever. One of those teams potentially, who is maybe the worst team in the league right now, because the Titans somehow got a win against the Arizona Cardinals. The Jets are the only team that hasn't won a game yet this year. And I don't know if you guys saw this tweet from a gentleman by the name of David Saleh, who just happens to be the brother of the San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh. And if you weren't sure, just look at the picture, and they got the same dome. So that checks out. David Saleh, Robert Saleh's brother, had this to say on Monday after week 5. He said, last year, the Jets were 2-3, playing for first place in their division when Woody Johnson, I love that he tags the owner too. He's not trying to talk behind this guy's back. He's letting the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, know what the score is right now. Love this from the Saleh family. The hashtags at the end are great too. Woody Johnson declared that, quote, the best roster in franchise history needed a spark, end quote. Since then, the Jets defense has gone from first to worst, donning a record of 3-14. Hashtag all gas, no breaks. Hashtag AGNB. Hashtag Victory Monday. Hashtag the spark. David sticking up for his brother, Robert. That is a phenomenal tweet. Tagging the owner of the New York Jets in the process, letting them know how they screwed up, firing the wrong guy there in Robert Saleh and getting worse in the process in New York. But maybe they could pluck one of those ex-Robert Saleh edge rushers from the New York Jets guys.
There we go. That's a good call.
I like the all gas, no break hashtags by the brother.
And then he throws
good.
NB too, just in case that's the hashtag people are going with. So I love the all gas, no breaks. It's phenomenal. That runs in the family. Not a lot of breaks in the Saleh family.
Yeah, not a lot of filter on what comes out of their mouth or fingers, apparently. I love it.
Yeah.
Would you guys oh, there we go. I'm still all right. Would you guys I kind of talked about a little bit. Would you trade Mac Jones if a team offered you a first round pick? I know how beneficial he's been to the 49ers, and he's played very solid. I think the defense has helped in some of these moments as well. But if someone, again, this is a backup, this is not your franchise quarterback. And if he's already won 3 games, he's lived up to whatever they're paying him. I know he has 2 years left on his contract, or another year left on his contract, but would you have traded him for like a first or second round pick to the Cleveland Browns or Cincinnati Bengals?
Oh, without a doubt.
I think, yeah, I say early. It's what, week 5, week 6. I mean, this is the time when team comes calling for your backup quarterback, and they're going to offer you first round pick. I think the better question might be, would you give up Brock Purdy for a first round draft pick right now with how well Mac Jones is playing?
All right, hold on. If we're going to go down this road, we got to pause for a second. Let's come back. Let's talk Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, because I think I need to set the record straight about where I think this is with the 49ers quarterbacks right now. It's a good problem to have when your starter's hurt and you have this good of a backup that comes in and plays. And then we'll talk a little bit about the one last look back and then a little look forward as well to the Bucs in week 6 next. Today's episode of Locked On 49ers is brought to you by Peloton. Here's a message from our own Cody Rourke of Locked On Broncos.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
Does Cody Rourke have a boom mic? Man, he was crystal clear for someone you can't see a mic anywhere in the picture.
He's got the Adam Schefter voice down. That's all I know about Cody Rourke. We used to do some prank stuff back in the day when we were all audio and not video. And if we would do like a Broncos crossover after the show, I'd be like, hey, Cody, will you do a fake Schefter report so I can send it to my friend and freak him out that the 49ers traded away Jimmy Garoppolo or whatever? And we used to have a lot of fun with that because, man, if you can't see his face, he sounds exactly like Adam Schefter. Normal. Brock Purdy is the 49ers starter, period. The Mac Jones stuff, awesome backup. He's not the starter. It's Brock Purdy. And so as long as Brock Purdy is healthy, it's going to be the Brock Purdy show. It would have to be something absolutely disastrous in his play, if healthy, later in the season, and then Mac Jones saving the season to even have a real conversation. Brock was clearly hurt against the Jaguars. I'm not going to hold that game against him. He clearly shouldn't have played. He was set back in that game. Mac Jones doing a great job. He's an awesome backup. He could be a starter for a lot of teams. He could be a starter for the 49ers potentially, right? But they paid their guy. It is Brock Purdy's football team. Brock Purdy is the starter. As for trading him right now, you'd have to really overpay for Mac Jones, talking about, but that would be, if someone says first round pick, be like, all right, sorry, Mac, we're going to play Adrian Martinez a week. We'll take a first round pick. But off season, I think we're going to see Mac Jones traded somewhere. I think it's almost, 90% chance Mac Jones is traded by the 49ers in the offseason unless they value having a backup that much or a team doesn't come with any kind of an offer for him.
I remember Teddy Bridgewater was traded for, not Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater got hurt, and the Minnesota Vikings traded for Sam Bradford.
Yes.
A first-round pick. Now, and at the time, Sam Bradford was, quote-unquote, the starter, but they did draft Carson Wentz, and they planned on starting Carson Wentz, and that just kind of, started the whole Carson Wentz era sooner than everyone was anticipating. That was how it happened, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, the Vikings, they sent a first rounder. Everyone knew at the time was like, that was a bad move, and this is desperation. So if a team gets desperate, sure, give us a call, but that's what it would take.
Well, my question is, will a team be that desperate for Mac Jones come the offseason, or will those kind of, rose-colored glasses be taken off, and they're like, nope, that's still Mac Jones. He can stay over there in San Francisco. Like, what would he even go for in the offseason when now you have more options? You got free agency, you have the NFL draft to be able to, potentially acquire someone, or if you want to go for a veteran and you think Mac Jones is that guy, what do you get for him in the offseason as opposed to right now? Do you think let me rephrase it. Do you think you would get more for him now when the team is more desperate, or in the offseason?
Offseason, there'll be more teams that haven't filled their quarterback spot yet. And it would have to be the exact rights. It would be like, let's say the Ravens, you lose a quarterback and you have no backup, but you're 4-1 instead of 1-4, and you need somebody to come save your season. You need a professional quarterback. It would be that kind of a scenario. Even the Bengals situation, they gave up too much for Joe Flacco. I'm not sure what they're doing, but the Bengals would make sense if they were playing better and they thought they were just Mac Jones away. And they're probably going to get their own quarterback back at the end of the season too. And so you're not going to spend a lot there. It would be really hard. You might find the perfect desperate situation in season, but there's just teams are building in the offseason. You're probably much more likely to get offers there. And I don't think the offer would be a first or second round pick now, or probably even in the offseason.
I think the perfect scenario for the 49ers is if Mac Jones maybe has to play again this weekend, has another really good game, and then Brock Purdy comes back, plays the rest of the year. Because then you've got these great, this great film you can put out there. Mac Jones, like, look what he did for us. We still got him under contract. We'll keep him. We don't need to get rid of him. What are you offering? No, up it. We're going to, and then you start kind of playing people against each other. And if he goes out on Sunday and has a dud, and then Brock Purdy comes back, then his trade value obviously plummets.
Yeah, and half the league runs a Mick Shanahan system. So they would be like, man, we just need a guy who can run the system. And look at Mac Jones. He can do that, and we can win games with him. He's a former first-round pick. He's the next Baker Mayfield. He's the next Sam Darnold and all that. So you could probably find a team that's excited about him if Mac Jones, doesn't what the bed at some point this season and put some really bad tape out there. But he's done a really good job for the 49ers. But make no mistake, Brock Purdy's football team, guys. A couple of games are going to change that. Wink, something stood out to you against the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, not just the Rams, but just so far this season, just a player that I'm really impressed with. We talk about this rookie class a lot. We talk about Williams, you talk about Collins, who had such an amazing play, and Stout, what he's been doing so far. But we've already mentioned his name in this podcast. It's Marcus Siegel. Like, the way he's been playing for the 49ers as a fifth-round rookie, he's third on the team in tackles right now. I mean, when you watch him play football, there's times where you're like, oh, he didn't play that the best. But as a rookie, as a guy that is just coming into the league and he's playing in this Robert Saleh defense, I think Saleh definitely likes guys like that, safeties especially, that are not afraid to come up and hit you hard. And that's what he does a lot of. So far this season, I've been impressed, not just with the guys I mentioned, Williams, Collins, Stout, but Siegel as well. Like, I think the 49ers really hit it hard with this draft class. Like, I'm really impressed with what's happened so far.
Super impressive to see a fifth rounder jump in and be able to start games like Siegel has. And I do think it's Mustafa and Siegel's the future of the safety position for the 49ers, depending on when Mustafa actually gets inserted back in the lineup, or, what they decide to do with Pinnock and the guy next to Mustafa. I think it's going to eventually be Siegel at some point this year, and then potentially just week 6 and beyond, which is kind of why I was talking about, Brown as being the odd man out, potentially a, trade bait there.
But real quick, in the week watch, we got to talk special teams, man. How about Eddie Pinheiro? Come on, that 59-yarder, that was huge. I mean, 4 for 4, this guy, he's everything 49er fans wanted Jake Moody to be. And here he is out there doing his thing. He's just got that look too, like you root for him. He's like that little brother that's always excited and running around. He's got a big smile on his face. And yeah, it's wonderful. And Morstead, 2 of his punts went inside the 20 again. I mean, he's doing what you need to do. So special teams had a great game on Thursday night. Hopefully they bring it again.
Hey, Wink, you would have been proud. We kicked the field goal in this game. I'll send you guys the video of it because there's like a whole mic'd up audio of it. And I was telling my coach, he was like, we're going to kick it. And I said, he's not good from there. Like, we need to be a little closer or whatever. And he kicked it, nailed it from 45 yards out. So
Ooh,
I'll send you the video.
Please
of
do.
that. Been proud of my-
It's a big time kick. What's his name? Just add De Niro to the back of whatever his name is.
Right. Memo De Niro. Memo De Niro. He's a soccer player.
Yeah. 45 yarders. 45 yarders.
That's good.
That's big time for a high school.
Yeah, we were on the 28, and then there's 7 yards for where the snap and catch, and 10 yards
45.
because of the end zone. Yep, 45 yards.
Perfect.
Wink, do you, before we go, have a prediction about this San Francisco 49ers team? They are underdogs. Tampa Bay right now, as of late Tuesday, favored by a field goal at home. Niners got to travel across the country. It's the 1:25 start, though, not the 10 a.m. start Pacific time.
Mm-hmm.
For the San Francisco 49ers, 4-1 versus 4-1. How do you see this one going Sunday?
I mean, we don't know who's even going to start a wide receiver for the 49ers, who's going to start a quarterback, who's going to play in this football game. But
doesn't matter.
Let's go beat the Bucs, man. Whatever. We were 8.5-point dogs last week. Went into Levi's South and won. This is no problem. Niners win.
There you go. Niners win. That is the voice of the fan, Nicholas Winkler. You can't argue. He speaks for the fans here on Locked On 49ers, our weekly guest, my former podcast co-host, and it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Nick, thanks for stopping by on another Winky Wednesday. Appreciate everybody else for stopping by, all the everydayers, new listeners alike. Please consider subscribing. Helps us out tremendously on YouTube or wherever you are listening to this podcast. And Croc and I back tomorrow. Actually, Croc is going to be on with James Yarko tomorrow for the Bucs 49ers crossover episode. So make sure you all stay tuned for that one right here. Locked On 49ers.
I don't buy it.